Comedy Mushroom Cult podcast, you're going to notice that the rest of the episode doesn't look or sound exactly like this. So, just so you know, we did a recorded interview with a friend of the podcast, Tyler Ross. He's a sweet angel of a man. We love him very, very much. So we have that going on after this little thing. I didn't get to do any of my go to at Who is Ray Roberts or give me money or anything like that. I also wore my Who is Ray Roberts logo tee. So I just showed it off on the YouTube. If you want to see it, go on the YouTube, or you can go to whoisrayroberts.com. There is a shop tab on there, and you can buy your own. That's a nice way to support. I make like $2 or $3 off of the shirts, maybe, because I think it's more important to have those out there than it is to make more money. So buy a whole bunch of them. I know some people have in the past, so that's nice. But we're kind of putting more of a push on that here lately. So yeah, we go over a bunch of stuff. Tyler moved from Chicago to Los Angeles a few months back, about 6 months ago at this point. Fucking ambulances coming, man. Jesus Christ. But no, we talk some Chicago stories. We talk about his move to LA. Talk about falling. And then we talk about a new little project that we're doing this fall. So check that out. Follow Tyler on all of his stuff. Follow because they must, or because we must, because they must. Whatever. We'll link it in the thing. All right, I'm bad at remembering names, but he does it perfectly in here. Promotion. I'm great at it. So, whoisrayroberts.com, at whoisrayroberts on everything. Got a bunch of fun shows coming up. That's why my hair's wet right now, is getting ready for one and trying to knock this shit out before I have to take a bus to it. So, yeah, enjoy the episode, and thank you for listening, watching, sharing, all that fun stuff. Okay, bye. Fucking technology, dude. I swear to God.
How long have you been doing this podcast? You should know how to do it by now. I'm actually very surprised. It's not
the
first
last
nature
time I've done it
too.
on Zoom though was I don't know, months ago when I caught up with our buddy Orion in fucking Salt Lake City.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, yeah, Zoom feels every time someone says it or is like, "Hey, do you want to jump on a Zoom?" I do have a little like ugh feeling because I did way too many Zoom shows during the pandemic for apartment event stuff. So
That seems
I
right up
never
your
want to do it
alley.
again.
Honestly, I feel like Zoom shows would be made for your apartment stuff.
Uh, it was because they had nothing to offer. So they're like, well, why don't we throw Tyler up to do comedy over Zoom or do trivia with people? And it was fine, but it feels like you probably know this. Did you ever host like a college radio show in like when you went to Kent State?
I did not. I was on like a couple of them, so I've seen them done, but I never hosted one or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I had at one point, and there's probably like three people maybe listening, one on accident. So hosting those and you're just talking and riffing with whoever or whatever the show was. Uh, which in my case I was like bringing like funny stop guests in on like a Sunday morning to talk, and no one's
What
listening. So
time
that's how it
Sunday
felt.
morning?
I think it was either 9 or 10 o'clock on Sunday.
So after doing a full weekend of shows and getting yelled at by Pete, rest in peace, you would drag some regional headliner onto the campus to do Black Squirrel Radio at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then we would do like wacky news stories that I would look up like the day of, morning of, that were like, did you know a squirrel got into town hall and it cast the last vote for mayor or whatever, silly stories you can find on the internet, like
I was
fun
thinking of
news
town.
stories.
I thought you were thinking of or you're talking about Town Hall, Town Hall 2 that was in Kent, the mental health like thing.
Oh my
Like a
God,
squirrel
no.
came in and went nuts. Or he thought that the nuts were there or something.
See, you missed your calling to be a 80s monologue joke writer with like wit like that.
Dude, I feel honestly like that was the reason why I started doing a podcast is I've always wanted to be like a talk radio guy. But like after seeing people we know do it, it's like that's too much
Uh-huh.
of a job. It's kind of like stand up when you're like, "Oh, they're like doing bits and like they worked on this." I just thought you just like turned on record and were like, "All right, this is what's going on in the news. We're all just funny right off the rip."
Right. Yeah, that ain't it, unfortunately.
No, no, but it is
So,
what it is. We could do friend catch up. I don't like it. It doesn't matter. This is my stupid podcast, and people get it by
yeah.
now. How's
Well,
California?
here's California's really good. I'll give a really fun update. We were earlier talking about napping and sleep schedules. My
Yeah,
schedule is ripped right now because we just adopted a 3 month old cat, like a little kitten. It's
that's
incredibly
wobbly.
adorable. And yeah, it has cerebellar hypoplasia. So it's something that they get from like their mom being pregnant with like a virus or something, and then they get born with it, and there's like varying levels of severity for it. So like she's like moderate, and but we saw like one that was a kitten that had like severe, like they had to get like a wheelchair for this cat. But basically, a kitten's got a lot of energy. It's always zooming around, but you throw in like a cat that can't hold up its back legs like all the time, running around my house when it has like zoomies. It is so funny. It's also wakes me up all the time, and she's a claw. Kittens have claws. You forget about. So now I'm like rocking like crazy cuts all around my wrists and stuff like that. So that's how it's been for me recently. I'm waking up in crazy hours hearing like tiny meows and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how California's going currently. I got a cat that is adorable but driving me crazy.
That's like mine is mostly because like I mean I have a job now, people on the podcast know, but like I've got nothing to do during the days, so it's just like I'll still wake up naturally at like 8 or 8:30 and then like I'll keep busy. I'll go for walks and like run errands and like make myself useful and all that other shit. So like I'm doing stuff, but like at night like just my brain's already because like especially after you just do a mic too and then you're just like all right now I'm thinking of shit the whole rest of the night and then you
Hmm.
can't fire down and then yeah we've got the two cats who have decided that nighttime is when they're going to play and they're going to sleep all day so like they're running around legitimately breaking shit and like because they're like one's two and the other one's like a year and a half coming on two but they're still like stupid and
Well,
like
they're
they
and they're
never get
getting used to
smarter.
like a new they're getting used to like a new space, a new like dynamics for like, all right, where are all the corners and things. So
And we
I'm
have
sure
like
they're still
hardwood
getting used to
floors now. So like they haven't figured out how to like stop on hardwood floors. So they'll
it.
just like sprint around a corner and like smash into something. Or we got them a new
Y-
cat tree and the one just refuses to like learn how to cat. So like he'll just like fall off the top of our cat tree and like we'll just
oh
hear
my
like a
God.
thud. Yeah, and it's wild. And we're like, bro, we've seen you do this 1,000 times. What are you doing? He'll just
Uh-huh.
like glitch and fall like 3/4 of the way down. And it's like an 8 foot tall cat tree. So like that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, that was our worry with this like kitten, it's like it's like a tiny thing, and even it has trouble like jumping off of stuff, as you can imagine, because it's not always like cocked forward. So it will like jump off our couch and just in the worst like positions, we're like, this cat is gonna break itself. But then, I forget that cats, especially kittens, they're just made of rubber and just bounce around a lot. Like it's
It makes no
hilarious.
sense. Like, cause it's I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I don't know the last time you've fallen. It's been thank God I haven't fallen in a while, but like it's you hit the ground and you're like, cause you're just dead weight no matter what you do, and somehow they are made out of feathers or something. Like it doesn't make any sense how they don't die all the time.
Can you remember your last really bad fall that you had that you were like not severely injured, but like hurt in like in a long way? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I know the last real good one. I was still drinking, go figure. And I was at a Christmas party for the car dealership I used to work at, and we were getting Guy's Pizza in downtown Kent because like our Christmas party, they would like rent out the Kent hotel, like that Kent State Hotel there, and then they would like rent us all rooms and stuff. So like we would do our banquet in the hotel and then go downtown afterwards, and it was just like a disaster because we all had like hotel rooms right downtown. And so we
Yeah.
were getting pizza and it was icy and I slipped and I hit my head on the curb right after I got pizza. So I slipped, hit my head, dropped the pizza, and then like went back to my room and passed out and woke up the next morning like thinking that I was just super hungover, forgetting that I fell. And then like went to work on Monday with a headache still, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "What?" Like they had to explain to me that I fell, and then I had to go to the doctor because I had a concussion. So, yeah,
Yeah, they
it's
probably shouldn't have let you fall asleep that night after. Like you could have very reasonably not woken up after like a serious injury like that. Isn't that what they
well,
say about concussions all the time?
sometimes like it's I mean if we want to get into concussion science but it's sometimes like they've like gone back and forth on it on whether or not it's a good thing. Like you're not supposed to sleep too much because like you could have a
Mhm.
brain bleed, like that's why they don't want you to do it right away.
Yeah.
But the irony in that is the reason why we got hotel rooms and like did it at the hotel was somebody in like like in the 80s or something left the Christmas party and drunk drivingly killed somebody. And so
Anyways.
they couldn't do a Christmas party for a while. So like I almost fucked it up by like dying with like with the bumpers on. Like I
Mhm.
couldn't, they made it easy for
Yeah.
us to like do, and somehow it still like almost got fucked up.
Gutter ball Ray still get gutters even with the bumpers. You'll love to
Hey,
see it.
we're just finding new ways to fail. Like that's what we're doing over here. When's the last time you fell
Yeah.
really bad? Oh, are you gonna tell me your bit about falling? Is that what you're gonna tell me about?
No,
Oh.
that's not what I was gonna think of actually. No, the last time I was picking up mail for a friend, walking up like they're like it was like it's not real steps, it's like sloping steps, you know, those, you know, they're hard to judge because you're not really taking full steps up. Uh
Mm-hmm.
the last one is a full step. I caught it, fell forward, had like packages in my hand and like a backpack on. So I'm like all over the place with like weight distribution. And I just go down hard on my knees and like down onto my elbows, you know, still trying to hold on to the package kind of. I don't want to like break my friend's stuff. Uh and I just remember like them putting it down and standing up. I'm like, oh my God, did I just like crack my knee from fall? You know, it just is that like deep pain that feels like a crack, but it just it's just deep. I don't know. You know, I'm talking. You know that
I
feeling,
had
right?
that.
Like
Yeah,
in
no,
your
I like legit. I thought that I broke my shin recently because I decided
uh
to start skateboarding a month before we moved. And I took like my skateboard came and hit me right in the shin. And I had like a lump right on my shin for, I mean, it's finally gone away after like 2.5
mm-hmm.
months. So I was like, either I cracked my bone or like this is the worst bruise I've ever gotten.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Well,
So yeah,
speaking of your falling story, that reminded me. I
okay.
rode my first Lime scooter on Sunday,
Be
and
careful. Those specifically because like the roads in Chicago are really bad, and those tires are so small that I am just not convinced that you couldn't like catch it and like really injure yourself. Not in
well,
like a
the thing
silly
that
jokey way that happened to me.
well, and that's like the first time, no, but they don't tell you this obviously until you like pay for it and like try to use it. Like you have to do like their like little 10-second quiz to be like, oh yeah, I like am not fucking slow. Like I know like where I'm supposed to ride this. And then they're like, okay, now we have you on training mode for your first 3 times.
Oh
And they
God.
charge you by the minute. So like I
Oh
was doing
no.
it was supposed to be like a 10-minute scoot down to Will's Northwoods for the Sunday mic, and it took me like 15 minutes because the fastest it would let me go is 7 miles per hour. So
Oh
like
my God.
yeah, like in so not like I was afraid that it was going to be too fast and like
That's
I was going
almost
to get
like
myself
more
in trouble.
dangerous for being that
Yeah.
slow.
I got like heckled from the street, and I didn't have headphones in because like for my first time I wanted to like be able to pay attention, and
Yeah,
like
that's
people
smart.
crossing the street were like, "Hey man, could you go any fucking slower?" And I was like I wish I could go faster. It won't let me.
Uh, I love getting heckled by pedestrians. That's a very unique situation you have to be in for everyone on looking to be like, I need to commentate what's going on a little bit.
Oh, and it was like
That's so
multiple
funny.
times. It was incredible. And then this old lady, like I almost ran her over on accident. But it was like right there, I don't know, we're gonna do Chicago fucking streets, but like where it turns from Clarendon into like Halstead, like that weird split there.
Yep.
If the 0% of people who know what I'm talking about, there's like a weird like bike path that goes through there, and she was like right in the middle of it, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not used to people like actually using the bike path for these." And I was
Oh
like,
my
"Well,
God.
be the change you want to see in the world. I'm also
Yeah.
going 5 feet an hour, so I wish you would move out of the way because like I
Did
don't
you
know
use
what
the
I'm
little
doing.
bell as you're coming up or no?
I don't know where the bell is on that thing."
No, you should learn. I'm surprised they didn't have it in training mode for you. So that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. Because like that's my thing. Like it's happened. I have not gotten in the way of anybody here. That's my like biggest fear is being in the
Mm-hmm.
way, especially when like it's hustle and bustle time. Except for like the one time I was in Target, I like turned around and some dude was like on my ass and got mad at me
Mm-hmm.
that like I turned around in the cart thing because I got the cart. And it's like, well, what are you doing? And then the other time, some dude walking with his backpack on the front of him. We were going to like some street fair in like Lincoln Park or something. And he like had his fucking book bag on the front of him, so I like went to turn around or something and like hit his book bag with mine, which wouldn't have been a problem if he wasn't wearing his book bag like a fucking idiot. And he's like, he called me the N word. He's like,
Oh
damn.
my
And we're
God.
like, he was a black dude. Like, so like, I think that's an
Okay.
important
Well, at
fact.
this point, I wasn't sure what like point this was going to. So thank you for painting the picture a little better for everyone.
Hey, it's fine. But yeah, like he just like I just like turned to like I don't
Hmm.
know turn, and like our book bags hit, and he's like, "Damn!" And then like called me the N word. He's like, "Watch where you're going." I want to be like, "Hey man, like what the fuck?" But it wasn't a battle worth fighting at that point.
Yeah, you gotta get through the city with as little confrontations as possible like that. So,
I don't my
w-
one of my favorite ones happened yesterday. It
okay,
wasn't with me. And I use favorite in very loose terms. Went to
okay.
Jake's pub where like Power Hour is. Just to
Hmm.
like hang out beforehand. I was doing a mic before that. And these people were like, because it's I don't know. I was like there at I think it starts at 8 or whatever, and I was there at like
Mm.
7 for a show I'm not even on. I was there an hour early because I'm fucking stupid. I wanted to write, so like I got there early to
You're
like write by
supportive.
myself. Yeah, somebody's got to be on time, you know. Uh,
Hmm.
might as well be somebody who's just sitting there to watch. And like these people who are like hammered at 7 on a fucking Monday, and because Chicago rips, and they like leave. And then I'm watching them like outside at like the window on the corner because they were there for a while. And then like a group kind of like aggregated over there. And then some dude like came inside and he's like, "Hey, just so you guys know, the cops are gonna be showing up in a minute because like this
Oh
guy like
God.
hit his girlfriend." And then like a group of people like descended on them, like just it was
Oh
like
my
one of those
God.
like because they were like, "Hey, you can't do that." And then of course like the guy started throwing a fit, and then they like called the cops. But like the reason it was my favorite, like, because obviously don't hit women because that's bad, and like the whole situation's
Thank
bad,
you
but
for
like
saying that. Right.
I mean, we need to in these times, but especially because this chick at the end of the bar goes, "Wait, hold on a second, why are the cops coming?" And then the bartender's like, "Well, this guy hit his girlfriend right outside the bar," and she's like, "Again, why are the cops involved in this?" And it was like
Uh-huh. Oh my
a mid
God.
to late 30s woman, and I was like, "Did you just find out that that's illegal? Like, what are we, what are we doing?"
That's
So it was like
so
a very fun
goddamn
like
obnoxious.
street justice, and then just like some lady was like, "Yeah, no, that's unacceptable. That's their business." And I was like, "All right, man, that's a problem."
Keep it to yourself. Yeah, what a great attitude, Chicago. Uh, damn, dude. Well, that's a great Chicago story to already 3 months into the living there, 2 months in there.
1 month in, man.
1 month. Okay, my bad. Sorry, it's hard to keep
We're
track.
just diving straight into the deep end. We're not gonna like pussyfoot around and like go hang out at the Bean or anything like that. I'm gonna go to Jake's Pub and watch some fucking Chicago dude push his girlfriend around on the street.
Jesus. Yeah. Uh, can't say that I've had that in LA yet. Nothing cool like that. But I've
Do
just seen,
people
you know,
walk around there a lot? Because like when we were there, that was like my biggest reason of like, there's no way that this could work for me until like I have like an established reason to be there. Is because it's
mhm.
like everything's so spread apart for things, and like it takes forever to go a mile. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a situation where my neighborhood, I can walk to everything I need to get. So I don't, if I have to go to some place in another neighborhood, yeah, I'm driving, but that would have been my same struggle in like Chicago. And it's the convenience. Like there are buses I could take if I wanted to get from like A to B around here. The level of like obnoxiousness kind of fluctuates, but again, same thing would have been in Chicago. But drive, I can walk in my neighborhood, and I think it just depends on how you like situate yourself, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yeah, I haven't had
Yeah.
like I've had one or two instances of like public transportation being like a problem. Like it's been like you would think that it would, for how much I've been on it in the last month, because like I don't drive anymore unless I like absolutely have to. Uh because that was what was killing me up in Milwaukee, was like gas,
Hmm.
just spending money on that. So like I just take public transport, and like you would think that I would have seen more crazy shit, and it's actually like I don't know, maybe I expected a lot more, or like think that somebody sleeping on like a whole section of the red line at 1 in the afternoon isn't that crazy. But like I've only seen like one person die, I think, or like be dead. So like I don't think that's a bad ratio.
Uh, the thing about that, it comes in like surprise moments. I feel like those kind of situations, those like very not like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Because we were just in a grocery store like 2 months ago, and some guy was like had packed a bunch of stuff in his bag, and they were like, "You got to get it out." And he started freaking out, like hitting the doors and going crazy. And yeah, it's just a casual day and all out of nowhere. But and I've heard people have done that. Like the Target by me, almost every single thing is like behind like the like glass, and you have to like
Hmm.
call someone over to like unlock it and open it. So I never really seen like in almost the entire store like that, like it is out here. So yeah, that's been the biggest difference I've seen.
Yeah, Ashley had that at Target, actually, like right up the street from us. Cause I mean, I where I live is like the fucking Walking Dead at all the times, because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and like I have like a heart for like the unhoused in our area, because you're like whatever they got to be there, like that sucks. And we're all like 5 seconds away from that happening. But like uh I don't know, maybe like calm down a little bit, or like spread out. Like it's like literally on my street is like where they all hang out. Like if you go 1 block over, like they're just like, "No, that's cool. Like we'll leave them alone." But it's like right 1 block down and like on my street. So like they'll go in before the security officer is in at Target, and like this dude was like, I guess, yelling in each one of the aisles, and then like knocking shit off of the shelves because they like wouldn't give him
Mm.
free stuff. And she's seen it, and I was like, yeah, I haven't had that issue. Like I had one guy, he was walking next to me on my way back from the red line after a mic the other night. I had headphones in, and like I wear wired headphones because Aaron Rodgers told me that's better for my brain. And which
Mm.
whatever. But uh like I'm walking, and like so you can see the headphones, and like this dude's just like mumbling next to me. So I like ignore him for like the first 5 seconds, like you
Yeah.
do. But like he like kept walking with me. So I just like took my headphone out and I was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And he's like, "Just wanted to let you know that like my buddy and his girlfriend are in the neighborhood murdering people and like nobody's
Oh
doing
my
anything to
God.
stop them." And I was like,
Oh
"All
my
right, I'll
God.
like keep an eye out, I guess." And he's like, "Well, be extra careful because the guy's got AIDS." And I was like,
Oh
"Cool,
my
man.
God.
Yeah, like have a good
Thanks for
night, I
all the heads
guess."
up. Yeah.
Like give me do you have
That's
like a picture of them
intense.
or are you just like following people around mumbling in their ears about this?
Yeah, that's wild. Damn. Yeah, my neighborhood in Chicago or here in Los Angeles, like, you hear a bunch of stories about like how many people and encampments will be there, but it's really not the case where I'm at. Like there's a few people, but that was the case in Chicago. It was like, oh, I know of a few people that just park in a spot and it's just like the one person, or like two on other sides of the neighborhood. So yeah, that's kind of how my situation is. There is one person that looks like the rapper Young Gravy.
Yes.
There's a guy who very much looks like the homeless version of that, and we call him Old Gravy whenever we see him. It's really fucked up, but
Lumpy
I'm willing to
gravy.
share. I'm willing to share that with you, Ray, and your audience. So,
No, it's like, and it's one,
uh,
and we call them unhoused on this podcast because
okay,
I don't give a fuck. Like it's Ashley will catch me every once in a while because like I don't know, you try to be nice and like whatever, and like
yeah,
whatever word that you want to call the person that has no house that's living on the street and like making
mm-hmm.
my sidewalk smell like piss, like whatever you want to call them, I will call them.
Yeah,
But yeah, like we've got like because we're right over by the lake, so like underneath like those like underpasses and like overpasses, there's like lined in the like walking path. Like the most dangerous part about it is like they leave everybody alone for the most part. Like they're just trying to live
mm-hmm.
and survive. So like be
Right,
there. I don't give a fuck. It would be nice if you pissed like in this actual street and not on like the side of the building. That'd be cool. But
yeah,
like they're like in the walking path, so you have to walk in the bike path, and you know how the fucking psychos around here just like they'll like yell at you before they like they'll pass you and then ring the bell and
right.
like get the fuck out of the way. It's like you see like I'm by a refugee camp right now, like I can't fucking walk
Oh,
through
yeah,
that.
yeah. Damn, dude.
But
Oh
it is
shit.
what it is. I mean, I feel like it won't be
Yeah,
as bad in like the fall/winter because like I don't know where they go during that time, but I don't know.
yeah. There's a lot of like really good shelters and different situations that people can go to for help when it gets really cold. So there's
And you know
numbers
what?
you
We
can
will
call as
link to
well if
that
you see people.
in the description
Wow,
of the podcast. So if you or
that's
somebody
great.
that you know is dealing with homelessness or unhousedness
In the winter, boom.
in the winter,
Uh, So completely switching. I was just watching the United States Brazil game. I didn't know because I haven't watched any of the games with sound on, but I didn't know the French crowds are booing every time Embiid has the ball.
why is
Um
that?
did so he has dual citizenship between France and the United States. And I think even Macron like reached out to be like, "Hey, we'd really appreciate if you played for, France's basketball team. Like we're hosting the Olympics, you know, play with us." And he decided to play with the United States. And every time he has the ball now, they just boo him because I forget like it's not just teams fans at these games that are fans of like one team or the other, or one country. There are those fans, but this is like an international uh audience. So they're just there to watch sports. And I
Yeah.
kind of love that, but I also love the like chaoticness of just cheering for whenever they want. And that's also very fun. So yeah, I've enjoyed watching the Olympics, especially this game, just for that little tidbit happening.
Well, here's the fun thing for me is even though I swore off betting on the men's Olympic basketball team,
Uh-huh.
uh, I threw another one on today. I've been doing I where I was like, do you know what? Where I'm fucking myself is I'm like tacking on something that like could happen, where
Hey, Devin
instead I
Booker's
should
at
be
4 or 5 threes right now. So you were right. Your
I
instincts
needed
are correct.
one. I needed one last game, and they like didn't
Mm-hmm.
do it for me. And oh, we've got 10 minutes left, it tells me. Time flies. But like
Especially when you're
I,
having fun.
yeah. I did Anthony Edwards 10 points, and he's sitting at like 5. Did Kevin Durant 10 points, he's sitting at 4. And I did LeBron over 10 points, and he's the only one who's hit so far. So like we've got a quarter and some change, but like every single one of those guys has been over 15 every single game. And of course they're just gonna be like, nah, not this one.
It's just Brazil. Who cares? Yeah, basically, yeah. Well, France had a great game. They made Canada look foolish earlier today. I don't know if you watched that game at all. It was a lot. It was a good one. I'm happy whenever the home country can have some team sports go far. You know,
I have
it's not
watched
as
zero of the
fulfilling.
Olympics because like this is
Oh,
the first
really?
year that like I mean you can watch it on your computer or whatever, but like this is
Mm-hmm.
the first year or the first one that I can remember where they're like we're going to only put it on Peacock and you can't stream it unless you have Peacock. And it's like, all right, well, I'm not paying for the Olympics.
I have Peacock year round. Big fan. Shout out to Peacock. You're doing great things. Uh, I love it because they have two things I love. One, they have multi-screen like events, so you can do a little like ADHD, continue trying to watch like archery and then like equestrian and then like swimming and then like handball. It's chaotic and I love it. Then
You're
they
doing the
also
Red Zone
have
channel for the Olympics.
they have the Gold Zone,
There
which
we go. There we go.
they have Scott Hansen there
Of
helping
course.
as one of the hosts for it, and he injured his hand on the first day, like talking with his hands or whatever. So there's like a photo of him like bandaged up on his hand. So yeah, they have the Gold Zone for whenever things are happening. But
What are they
yeah, I
doing to these presenters in the Olympics? Because remember, Bob Costas had like pink eye a few
yeah.
Olympics ago. Now Scott
Hmm.
Hansen injured his hand on there. We need to protect these announcers.
Well, they got a tough job and people don't really recognize how. I mean, Colin Jost had like some other weird like foot injury or something like that. He had like I want to say it was like a fungus or like a virus he picked up in Tahiti because he's out down in Tahiti doing the
Surfing.
field work there for surfing. Yeah.
That I didn't realize that's kind of been the fun. I mean, to put the comedy and mushroom cult spin on this. Uh
Uh-huh.
the imperialism that's still happening out of France. That like I didn't know Tahiti was owned by France until this.
Is it actually owned, or are you just saying like, oh, they're just doing it because they can do whatever they want?
I'm like 98% sure because I like read a quick thing on it and they were like, for the French
Okay.
Olympics, they're like in some island in Tahiti that the French still own. And then like the other fun wrinkle, because of that boxer last week that like threw the big
Uh,
thing, the French also used to like own Algeria. So like it's just like it's wild like how those stories fold into it.
they got their little fingers and everything. That's incredible.
The French are
Um,
fun.
yeah. No, I had a few little bets. It's nice like doing it the night before because some of these games are like 2 o'clock in the morning for me. So I'm like, all right, well, I hope I wake up and see that Dennis Schroeder hit 3 threes. So that's like a fun thing to wake up and get to find out if you made nice guesses in the morning. Like I
Because
like
he's playing
watching
for
sports.
the Germans, right?
British Romans, yeah. Um, he yeah, I like watching games when I bet on them, but I don't necessarily feel like I have to. It's fun to watch it, but it's not a necessity to me.
Yeah, and that's kind of been like the weird part of like, and I've been trying to keep up with the men's Olympic team because like you can't bet for them just to like win or whatever because like it's minus 5,000. And
Right.
I'm not spending that much money on it, but like like it's but you can like keep track and they're like, oh, everybody's gonna play like 10 to 12 minutes or whatever, and like it doesn't really matter. And so you're like, okay, but still, like Anthony Edwards is doing like windmill dunks on fucking South Sudan when they're up by 40. Like, all right,
Right.
he's gonna get 10 points. Let's do this. And they're just
Right.
not.
Yeah, it comes in like weird spurts, and then it's like Jokic is like, all right, hey, I'm just here to shoot. I'm not really, doing a lot of other things. I'll pass it off and just playing it simple and casual. It's been very funny watching him play. He just always looks like he just doesn't want to be there, and he really does in the Olympics.
Well, it's almost one of those like when somebody's like 7 foot, like they just happen to be 7 feet tall and they're like, you're just going to play basketball. No
Yeah,
matter, and it
exactly.
seems like that's his like mining job or whatever. Like they just sent him to like, hey, instead of working like the fields or whatever they do there, like you have to go play basketball and just be like the
Yeah,
best at it all the time.
they don't hand him like a pickaxe. They're like, here's a basketball. Go dribble.
Yeah. Like that's how
That's so
you
funny.
that's how you support dear leader in whatever third world nation you're from. Um but we can talk about I'm just ready for football because that's where
Mm.
we that's our bread and butter, especially when it comes to betting. And that's just because it's all pure vibes coming from
It
football.
really
And I
is pure vibes.
and I think that's where we pick it up. And that's why I'm excited for our little football cast episodes that we're going to do that we're still figuring out in the
Yes.
fall. But this is what the kids call a soft launch. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just putting a picture of like your arm in the picture. So somebody's like, who's that? Uh, but no, that'll be super fun because we have a very good betting history together. So I think that can only be good when it comes to the thing we actually know about, kind of.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun to kind of track it a little more. I feel like in the past I've been like a wild man of just kind of like spreading it all around in various silly ways and just hoping it wasn't too damaging to me in the end. And
Right.
for the most part, I think it's been like pretty even of like hard ups or downs, and they're not like crazy swings. So it's like, we're both, neither of us are like high dollar amount gamblers. It's just like more fun of like, cool, I bought a lunch for myself, or like, I guess gas is paid for a tank of gas, like that's how I really see it in like
Oh
terms
yeah,
of that.
like
But
the
yeah,
most I've ever bet is $50 on like a game. You know what I mean? Which is a lot of
yeah.
money to bet on something that you don't know. And
Fifty
like
dollars was the most I bet on Baker Mayfield to score a touchdown. Like it was, I'm with you, and he
that's a top
goddamn
tier,
did.
like that's gonna be one of those like when the autobiography is written, like in Wyoming at a random horse betting place with dollar draft beers that I
Dollar
couldn't
draft
enjoy,
beer.
obviously, but like dollar draft beers and like Wi-Fi good enough to bet on not their betting system
hmm It was
and then
incredible. Yeah,
hitting it.
we'll have to tell that full tale on the first episode of the new one. Is that'll be a great hero's
Tease.
story. Wow.
A
Um,
tease.
but yeah, we're, especially in California, I can't do any spread betting. I can only do prop bets through like prize picks. So I'll be in a very unique place for what's available and what I'll be able to, submit to our thing. So yeah, look out for that.
Yeah, and I usually do prop bets anyways, because I think betting spreads is nonsense. Just I don't know what it just seems like. Oh, they're gonna beat them by like every game's decided by like 3 points or less. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, might as well just bet it money line and make an extra couple dollars if you think it's gonna be an upset.
Yeah, I think
But
that's right. So
last minute we got here. What is the name of the podcast that we're going to be putting it on so other people can look for it and your socials and stuff you got coming up that the 7 people who might be in LA find that.
all my socials are Tyler Tells Jokes. So it's just Tyler Tells Jokes. And then the podcast you're gonna hear, Ray and I, is my sports history podcast I do with my fiance called Because They Must. So Tyler Tells Jokes because they must. Thanks for having me, Ray.
Yeah, no problem. And I forgot about fiance. Like it's one of those weird like once you get married finally, it's just going to be like, "Oh yeah, Tyler and his girlfriend or whatever." You know what I mean? Like still
Yeah,
forever just cuz that's what she's been for
right.
far too long and now you're making an honest woman of her. So, that's good.
True.
All right. Well, we'll wrap this up. I'm going to do like some sort of shit at the beginning or the end of this anyways. So like this is just an awkward part before we say goodbye.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll give you a
Bye.
phone call here in a second.
Yeah,
Bye.
do that.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.